Alrighty guys, so what's happening? Well, we're back out here cutting. Got all of that straw baled off this morning for Lloyd. Got the tractor and baler home. Had a visit with a neighbor, with Kenny. And now we're back to cutting. So we'll get this field all cut off. And then we'll see what time it is after that, and I might start hitting some sloughs. Like if that vetch, I'm not sure that red proso vetch or millet, I mean. Red proso millet, maybe that's what that is. Why it's so brown color, reddish brown color. If that stuff, I have to check and see if it comes back year after year. That might be an option to put into a hay mix in the future. I'll have to check and see if that's considered a perennial or not. I don't think it is, but we'll investigate it. And if it is, we very well may throw that stuff into an alfalfa mix that we're looking at seeding for next year. It's a late bloomer though, that's what bothers me, is that it's such a late bloomer, and I have no idea what the food value is of that stuff, but it's out here. If it had zero food value, I highly doubt they would even put it in the mix. So we'll give her a go and see what happens. Anyway, we'll get this cut and we'll bring you guys back and later on after we figure out what the heck we're gonna do. Well guys, we're back in the yard and this ain't good. Looks like something's missing there, right? Yeah, it's called the bearing. Pitman bearing, and the cap, I lost it and the bearing blew up. Don't ask me how I lost the cap, I don't know. But anyway, it's gone and we blew the bearing up. I have replaced this piece once before, but if I have to replace this housing, if I can't get those races out without damaging the housing, this friggin' housing with the races in it, not the bearing, just the races, is $745 fucking dollars. Can you friggin' believe that shit? Jesus Murphy. But let's get this son of a bitch tore apart and see if we can do something with that. I'll bring you guys back. It's all 3/4 inch wrenches, so it shouldn't be too bad. We'll talk to you in a bit. Okay, so apparently the parts are all in at Nick's service. They have everything in stock. I'm really quite surprised. Are you surprised? You're not sure what to say, actually? What? What? And some of you may say, well, Brennan, just hook up to the other machine and keep going. And CP did say that to me too. Well, there's only like an hour and a half worth of cutting in there, and then I'm into sloughs, and I don't want to take the other machine, which is a lot cleaner, a lot straighter, into sloughs, because you never know what you're going to encounter in a fucking slough. So I'll put a bearing in it, and we will continue with the beat up machine. How's that sound? It's not that big a deal, really. It's just a friggin' bearing, babe. Why are you giving me the look? Suck on your sucker. Choke. Okay, we'll go get our parts and I'll bring you guys back for the adventure. Alrighty guys, so That's the housing. That's the new bearing. You basically have to press that bearing in there, or be very careful that you don't damage it when you're installing. We got lucky and we did not bugger up the snap ring, thank God. And now we gotta get him on top of that little stub shaft. That's where it goes. And yeah, so we're gonna take some of this and we're gonna smear it on there like that, just to kind of get it started like so. And when you put this on, it looks like it's a lock collar, got it for a lock collar, but actually it's just a standard, more or less a standard bearing. And that just, you want to make sure that that lock collar edge goes in first. That's the ticket with this sucker. Like that. And then we just got to tap them into place and run our bolts in. Okay, we'll bring you back in a bit. There. The hardest part about this is lining up. There's this plate, and then there's another plate that the bolts thread into on the backside. It's getting those all lined up. It's not bad, but that's the most difficult part. And if you don't got a press, then getting the bearing in and out, the old one out and the new one in, that's kind of a bag. But anywho, we got her. Rip this open. And all this is a friggin' dust cap. Providing it fits properly. Of course. And it's not going to want to go on where the fuck, so it looks like it's going to be a chisel or something to help tap it into place with. So 2 hands. Okay, I'll bring you back once I get that on. And oh, by the way, that bearing is a sealed bearing. It's not a greasable. They used to have greasables in there, and now they switched to seals. So, what have I got in here to use as a? I use that. Okay, back in a bit. Alrighty, now to test it. See if it's gonna rattle like a son of a bitch. Oh, look at that. It's back to nice and quiet. Oh yes, oh yes. Okay, we're back in action. We'll catch you all later. Alrighty guys, how the heck y'all doing this morning? Hope you're all doing alright. What are we doing? We're heading on down the road in Big Blue, and we switched the Little Red and Big Blue around on the haybine that I use for cutting sloughs. So I got that little bit of green feed, gamble crop, whatever you want to call it, cover crop. The second cutting on that stuff is all done, and now we're heading out to investigate some slough bottoms that we cut on a relatively regular basis. How's that sound? So we'll get out there and we'll investigate it, and we'll do some cutting, and we'll bring you guys back a little bit later. Talk to you then. Alrighty guys, well, we're out here in this slough, and this slough last year was solid friggin' cattails. We cut them out. There's still a few in here. A little bit of kochia came in here now. Here where it's green, that was grass last year. But further back where it's kind of brownish color, that was solid friggin' cattails last year. And we cut them all out. We just kind of bale shredded them out for bedding for the cows out in the pasture. And I still got some cattail in here, but if I can, if I can keep getting in here to cut it, those cattails, I'm just trying to turn this corner here, guys, so bear with me. Alrighty, so those cattails, the plan should, the grass is coming in fairly good, and they should drown out the cattails, and then we'll have a lot better slough grass content versus cattail content. And just like any friggin' slough, she does get a little bouncy through the middle in here, but we do have a swath, right? The worst possible thing that could happen at this point out here is that the people that rent the farmland part, so Cambites, and I think it already happened a little bit, that when their guys are spraying, it's a breezy type day, and they get drift that settles in across the, oh look at that, punch bug, hey babe, punch bug, gotcha. Anyway, they're spraying, and if it's a little bit windy, the drift comes in. So that's the worst possible thing that could happen, where they basically kill my grass off. But the cattails aren't bad in here now. Like, the grass is moving in deeper into this area here, so we're just gonna stay on top of it and keep trying to clean these sloughs up and get more grass, and hopefully in time I'll have some relatively decent slough hay grass growing through the whole thing, right? Anyhows, and the farmer that I get this from that owns the property, he's generally pretty good, where if it's a lot of cattail like this stuff here where I'm trying to clean it up like this, he doesn't charge me for those type of bales because he knows what we're trying to do. So that's pretty good of him, actually, I think. He's not like some other farmers where it's, nope, you made a bale, you gotta pay for that bale. In the long run, it'll do him good for me to try and get as much grass growing back in here as possible, and if all I gotta do is keep the cattails at bay and get the grass to go, then he's pretty good about it. Anyway, with these friggin' sloughs, like I said before, they're kind of bouncy, and with any slough, there's a shitload of friggin' turning. You're constantly turning, so I'm gonna let you guys go, and we'll bring y'all back a little bit later. Talk to you then. Alrighty, guys, see this right here? So the guy I get the grass sloughs from here, it's all pretty good slough hay. If it isn't fucking sprayed out like there, because the friggin' sprayer operators are too goddamn lazy to take over control of the steering wheel and their GPS unit, and they drove right through it. Also, when they combined that spot I showed you, well, instead of friggin' driving around the slough, they drove right through it and trampled the hell out of it with the friggin' combine, because they were too lazy to go around it. There was nothing here for them to combine anyways. But see that? You can see the tire marks from the combine where it's all trampled really bad. I can't pick that up worth a shit. And when you've got a tire track that's 2 or 3 feet fucking wide, that's a lot of grass lost if you can't pick it up. Friggin' guys, piss me off. Like, there's no respect. They know that I come in here. The farmers staked all these sloughs. They're not supposed to friggin' spray them or go through them. They went through them anyways. They don't fucking care. They don't friggin' care at all. But that's what you get when you rent to a big friggin' farm corporation. They don't give a shit about the little guy. And half the slough, they fucking sprayed it, the fuckers. Yes, I'm talking about Cambite Farms, and if any of you guys out there work for Cambite Farms, this is what I think of you. You're a bunch of fuckers. How's that sound? There's no reason. If your bosses are telling you to drive right through the sloughs, tell them no, that's not right. There's people out there that cut and bale these sloughs to feed livestock, and that livestock is what's putting that friggin' T-bone steak on your friggin' plates, you fuckers. Anyway, that's the end of that one. Okay, off to another one. We'll talk to y'all later. Alrighty guys, well, believe it or not, I actually found a slough that they didn't, Cambites didn't drive through. Excuse me. And this one is actually seeded to alfalfa and like a ryegrass. The ryegrass is dried right out. The alfalfa is pretty much toast. It is still green, but it's a big slough. It goes way out there. Last year we got like 13 bales out of this sucker. Like big 6-foot bales, so there's still a little bit of flour hanging on to that alfalfa, by golly. I can't believe it, but it is. But she's leaving a decent swath. And I will be coming in here and raking 2 of these into one and baling it up that way. But yeah, I can't actually believe they didn't drive through this one to trample it all down really bad for us. Anyways, I'll let y'all go. We're gonna keep on trucking. We'll be getting some feed out of some of these sloughs anyway, so that's the main thing, right? We'll talk to y'all later. Okay guys, so I just thought I'd stop here, and you can see where I cut right here, but you can see right there, that's where they drove through this slough and they trampled. So that's like a 3-foot wide track. You can see that right there. So 3 feet, next track 3 feet, that's 6 feet for every time they go through. And they went through like 10 friggin' times, so that's 60 feet of trampled grass that I can't pick up. Then on top of that, the grain cart driver comes in and he fucking does circles in the friggin' grass out here. They got all that goddamn field out there. Why does he have to turn around on the grass? Does that make any sense? I'm sorry if I'm bitching about this too much, but you know, for every foot of grass that gets trampled by a real big heavy machine, I can't pick it up. That means that's a bunch of grass that I don't get to cut and bale to feed my cows. That's also, for every blade of grass, that's grass that's not getting put into the bale that the landowner gets paid for. So you just can't pick that stuff up when it's trampled that heavy this late in the year. It won't stand back up. So yeah, it's just, to me, when I was cutting the water runs where they had canola, I made sure not to friggin' cut or trample their canola. And then this is what I get in return. They just don't give a shit. Go right through. And with their GPSs, they could have, an auto steer, they could have friggin' took over the auto steer, went around the friggin' slough, and picked it up, their lineup, quite easily with their GPSs. I've seen enough guys with GPSs and auto steer, and it's doable. They got the friggin' big fancy equipment to do that with. So yeah, just friggin' rude. Just friggin' rude, in my estimation. Anyways, we gotta finish this little corner off over here, and then I got a little bit on the other side of that stone pile to take down, and there might be one more slough after that inside that bush over there. I know they didn't drive on that because they wouldn't have been able to get in there because it's surrounded by trees. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go. We'll yammer later. Alrighty guys, well that concludes that part of her. I guess I could do that little tiny strip, but for 4 passes it's hardly worth my friggin' time. Running around friggin' trying to scramble to grab a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Ah, hell, let's friggin' go do her, I guess. Right into the field, right here, right now, right? Slow down. Slow down, BP, slow down. It looks pretty nice, so we'll take it down. It might make half a bale or 3/4 of a bale, so we'll take it. Okay, we'll bring you back in a bit. Yes, this stuff was definitely worth pulling in for. Like, that's a heck of a swath there. Looks good, and it's really nice and green too. That's how all of these sloughs used to be. But this year they've totally gone to crap. So, and I think the biggest problem is they're getting a lot of drift. Chemical drift. And that's why they're going to crap. Because this one, you can see it's got a little bit of spray right on the edge there. But the rest of it's really nice. And that's how these sloughs were. Like, this is that reed canary grass. And it never got too rank or too crazy. But it's really leafy. We got all the bottom growth, basically. And it's really nice stuff, and cows actually really like this stuff, especially if you process it a little bit. Anyway, we'll get a friggin' bale or whatever out of here, and it's only half an acre, so that works for me. Fuck, that's a big machine. 100 feet and 700 horsepower. 100-foot Dagelman heavy harrow, and he just ripping. He's doing like friggin' 15 miles an hour with that thing. Just going. But anyway, I sat here and chit-chatted with the guy for a while. He's just one of the employees. Very nice guy. Farmer himself. Casual worker for Cambite Farms. Very apologetic as to what happened. He actually seeded the land out there that went around all those sloughs of mine. Fuck, he's halfway down the field already. Anyways, yeah, and he said, obviously there is a miscommunication from the spraying and seeding guys to the harvest crew. And he guaranteed me that that won't happen again if Jordan Cambite has anything to say about it. And that's not what Cambites are like. They're not out there to hammer the little guy out of business or anything like that. So yes, I'm upset that the hay got trampled. Who wouldn't be, right? The grass got trampled. But you know, you just got to talk to them. Because lots of big business, they could give a shit about the little guy. They won't even talk to you. He actually stopped and chit-chatted and the whole 9 yards. No issues whatsoever. So, and I accepted his apology on behalf of Cambite Farms, and he said that Jordan will be getting a hold of me. He pretty much guaranteed it. And I said, well, no, I just don't want you guys to go and harrow the friggin' sloughs that I cut now. And he says, no, you don't have to worry about that. That's not what we're about. We're here to work with everybody. And that field was actually taken on specifically, and all them sloughs were all marked out via GPS and the whole 9 yards, and nobody was supposed to go through them. So anyways, I'm gonna let y'all go, and I'm sure there'll be an update on KF Farms and myself in the future. So we'll talk to you guys later. Alrighty guys, so follow up to Cambite Farms. So Jordan Cambite, like the owner, so to speak, he gave me a call. I just got off the phone with him, and he seems like a pretty damn nice guy. I'm not after bales. Like, I don't know how many bales we would have lost with the trampling of all the grass through all the sloughs, but I have no idea how much it would have been. Maybe 3, maybe 4, at the very, very most 4 bales. Probably not even that. And I told him it's not that, it's just the concept of it, and he was very apologetic, and I appreciate that. I said, more than anything, I just want to be good neighbors. We're both farming the same land. In essence, you're grain farming it, I'm haying it. So, and he's not out to try and push the little guy out of there. How's that sound? That's the feeling I get. He's not trying to push me out. So kudos to Jordan for following up and getting a hold of me, and I look forward to meeting him one day. He's offered to bring a couple bales over to replace what might have been lost, but like I said before, it's no big deal. It's not like I need the extra feed by any means, right? So yeah, that's what's happening. Right now, yeah, I'm upset that it happened, but mistakes were made, and mistakes happen. So he's trying to rectify it, and I can appreciate it. And he seems like he himself seems like a pretty decent guy. So I'm gonna let you all go. Give us the old thumbs up, comment, subscribe. I guess it's that time of the year where I don't think we're gonna get away again, unfortunately. So this thing's gonna get cleaned out. This is the camper. And CP happened to come in here, and she was friggin' looking for something and stumbled across some friggin' mouse turds. The little bastard. So we gotta set some traps and shit out, because a friggin' mouse got into the camper. So, but yeah, this is our home when we're not home. It's this thing right here, which is pretty sweet, actually. Basically, the mouse was under the bathroom sink. So what the hell he was doing down there, I don't know. But anyway, again, give us the old thumbs up. You know that. Comment, subscribe. Leave us your comments. And make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button. And fun. Let's get her done. We'll catch you all later.